Well, over the last 4 days, we've talked to each of the major mayoral candidates here in San Diego, and this morning they will be appearing at 2 different forums. The moderator for the first of those forums, our political analyst, John Dadian, joins us here this morning to kind of take a look at the big picture now after we've heard from all 4 of these candidates. Did you hear any surprises during our interviews during the last week? Anything that raised an eyebrow?
I really didn't, but that's good from a political consulting campaign strategy, because what they preach to the candidates is stay on message.
So they were all disciplined in that regard.
Without a doubt.
Okay, you're going to be talking to Nathan Fletcher, Bonnie DeMantis, Bob Filner, and Carl DeMaio at the University Club later on this morning. Can the public still go to this, or is this...
It was open to the public, but it's sold out.
It is sold out now. Okay, so then later on today they'll be down in Barrio Logan.
That's right.
For a similar type forum. What will you do as a moderator today? How will you approach this?
Try to keep all the cats herded together, etc. And it's a pretty basic format. We let them give an opening statement, so similar to your interviews, they get to sell themselves. But it's one of the main things is for the public and for University Club members, we let them ask questions because we want it to be a service to our members.
Oh, so the members actually get to ask questions of the candidates, so they have to think on their feet and respond to those questions.
Absolutely, yeah. The candidates do not know the questions ahead of time because it'll come from the audience.
I like that. All right.
I've got a couple myself, though, that I'll put in first.
That you'll throw in, preview?
We're going to ask them about education, because all of them, right after the pension, they're saying this. And so I'm going to give them what I consider an easy question, but why is this an issue in the mayor's race? Because we have elected school board members. Yeah,
we tried to get to that, and the general response from all the candidates was, well, we should be a leader in our community as the mayor, but they don't actually have any authority in terms of the education system here in San Diego, correct?
Absolutely. On one hand, I will say it's the Teddy Roosevelt quote that the use in the mayor's office is a bully pulpit, which is absolutely appropriate. But then if you really want to put them on the hot spot, I'll ask them, what would they do if an elected school board member tried to tell the mayor's office what to do?
Okay, yeah, good point, good point. So you'll come back next week and kind of we'll go over that once again.
See how
now let's talk about where the race stands right now. You've heard reports that one candidate or another is surging in the polls, and yet just me as a voter, I'm looking at the big picture here. I don't see things happening as the average Joe citizen here that I would be able to attribute any surge to. What's going on behind the scenes?
Well, that's because, Mark, you live out in East County.
And they're not targeting me then.
For residents of San Diego, the mailbox have started to become full, et cetera, and you see a lot of on the airwaves, which I'm sure you've seen. So, no, it's absolutely a little bit more than 2 weeks left to go. It's really getting hot.
A lot of money being spent here?
Absolutely. This is absolutely breaking all records, both by the independent, by each campaign is doing a very good job of raising money, especially DeMaio and Fletcher. But also, again, we use these terms, whether or not you want to say super PATs or independent expenditures, it's more than we've ever seen before.
All right, let me just ask you in general terms here. I'm going to ask you who is supporting each of these candidates, if you can, in general terms. Nathan Fletcher.
Nathan Fletcher, again, he says he didn't coordinate this, but he had a bunch of business people switch there to independent like him. So he's saying he's representing both and everybody.
Okay, Bonnie DeMantis?
She has a lot of the old leadership, such as the sheriff and the mayor, which is good because the current mayor's higher in the poll. So she says a lot of, and all 5 county supervisors.
Bob Filner.
Bob Filner has labor behind him, and because realistically he's the only Democrat in the race, the party's behind him, the labor's behind him, which is the traditional Democratic base.
So I guess, how does the Democratic Party, well, let me finish the question. Let's finish with Carl DeMaio.
Don't leave Carl out. We'll hear about it.
Yeah. Let's talk about who's backing Carl then.
And again, Carl has done a very good job as far as going to groups. I was at one group where they were going to stay neutral, and Carl says, I've been there for you. You need to endorse me because I'm the one for reform. And they went and endorsed it. So he's done a very good job. He's gotten quite a few business groups.
Okay, so let me circle back to Filner now. You mentioned the Democratic Party. Is he the only one receiving major support from a party? Is the Republican Party behind any one of these candidates in a big way?
Absolutely. The county Republican Party is very much behind DeMaio, and they're very irritated Nathan Fletcher for switching parties. So they're both spending money, and they transferred a lot of money to the state party because they're going to be doing a statewide mailer that targets that district. So both parties are very vested.
Does the party hope to gain anything in particular by backing a candidate, even though, because this is a nonpartisan race? What exactly do they hope to gain by backing a candidate then?
Oh, realistically, though, you want your party in the mayor's race. On the Democratic side, it'll be their first realistic chance in 20 years. It was Maureen O'Connor that was the last Democrat, and that goes back to the early 90s. So they have a lot riding on this without a date. On the Republican side, with Carl DeMaio being the endorsed candidate, they're also running candidates in the council races, and they want to both get a majority there and have somebody in the mayor's office.
So this has to do with people that are of a like mind. That would be why the party would support them, not necessarily just to get a Republican or a Democrat in the office, but because these are people of like mind.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Carl DeMaio's one of his main pitches is he certainly wants to be mayor of San Diego, but he says, but I need the support, so I need these other candidates that are of like mind. That's exactly right, Mark.
All right. Political analyst John Dadian will be at the University Club. I know you've got to head out the door and get
on
up
my
there.
way.
Starts at 7:30?
Correct.
Okay, but that one is sold out. Then an event later on today down in Barrio Logan. We'll talk to you next week. We're getting close.
Very good.
All right. Good to see you. Thanks, John.